Wednesday devotion for October 14th, 2020. Today is an important day where we combine what we've been doing in our devotion for our Series 66 and our other devotions. Series 66, as you know, is our attempt to go through the entire book of the Bible, each book of the Bible, looking at a little bit of their content and their character and a few important verses or stories from those books. We are at a place in our Series 66 where we land on 2 Chronicles. I told you in our last devotion last Friday that 1st and 2nd Chronicles was originally one book, one story, that reiterates a lot of what we hear in the previous 4 books and the lessons from the nation of Israel and their kings and the workings of those kings, both in their successes and in their failures. One thing I neglected to tell you about these 2 particular books, 1st Chronicles and 2nd Chronicles, is that these books in their original format were found at the very conclusion of the Hebrew Bible, meaning that it gave a great overview of what had been read and said in the rest of their story, the story of the people of Israel. Where we place it in our Bible, it seems very redundant. It seems as if we have just read these stories and it feels a bit repetitive. But it also is a look at how those kings, both from the northern and the southern kingdom, were both successful and were failures in some points. Now, where we combine this with some of the other things we've been doing in our devotion is that we've been trying to offer other words of encouragement, teaching, and inspiration as we've done our devotions today, or during this time that we've had our devotions. And so this last Sunday, we continued our series called Take the Next Faithful Step. In this sermon series, our goal has been to invite our people to a time of discipleship, inviting you to become closer to God and closer to what God is calling you to do in Christ Jesus. This is particularly helpful in our time of transition, as we transition from what the church was before pandemic and what the church might be after pandemic. These are questions we all struggle with. Myself as a pastor and you as members of the congregation, and many of you are leaders in your own home and community, as well as in the church. What's next? Well, this series asks us to take seriously looking to what might be next for each of us. And so this last Sunday, in the second of the series, the subtitle was to pray as if everything depended on God, but work as if everything depended on you. As I was preparing for this sermon, I was wondering how it is that I could make this message applicable. I tell lots of stories and illustrations and teachings within my sermons to help people to gain understanding of the biblical text and what God might be asking us to do. But one thing that I know that sometimes I am short on, sometimes I fail in giving you practical steps of putting the message into practice. I know this is something that is important for all of us. And so, as I was thinking and praying and preparing for the message, nothing was quite hitting me. But then Sunday afternoon and evening, I was still thinking about this in my mind, and something hit me. A challenge, an opportunity for you and I to put into practice this idea of praying. Praying as if God, everything that would happen in the church, everything that happens in our life, everything that happens in fulfilling our discipleship depended on God, but working as if everything depended on you. And so starting today, October 14th, going through the Sunday just prior to Thanksgiving, which is November 20th, I want to invite you to pray. Pray together as a congregation each and every day. This is 40 days. 40 days long for us to think about. You might recognize the number of 40 as the number of years that Israel spent wandering from a time of captivity into a time of the Promised Land. These stories that we reflected upon throughout these first few books of the Series 66, from Genesis all the way now through 2nd Chronicles. But 40 is also a significant number of the days that Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, the days in which Jesus was tempted to disregard and disavow his relationship with God and give in to Satan's temptation. We've certainly been tempted in these last days and weeks and months to abandon our faith, to look at something else. But we ask you to remain faithful. 40 is also the number of days that Jesus presented himself to the people after his resurrection and before his ascension into heaven, between Easter Sunday and Pentecost, which is the birthday of the church. 40 is a significant number, and a number that I wish for us to do. I'm committing to be in prayer with you and for you every day at 7:30 in the morning. Today or tomorrow, you will receive a message, a letter from the church that includes a small business card. On that business card at the front, it says, "The Power of Prayer." On the back side, there is a prayer that I ask you to pray. Just simply read these prayers. Keep this in your wallet or your purse or on the dash of your car, on the mirror in your bathroom, somewhere where you can pray this for the next 40 days. If 7:30 works out for you, it would be great if we're praying in unity together. But if it works at a different time, that's okay. I want to read this prayer for you. Lord, bring your kingdom here, in our home, in our church, in our community, in our nation. Lord, multiply your kingdom through us. Use us to reveal your power, hope, and grace. Lord, keep me in the moment so that I will not miss what you have for me and your kingdom being revealed. Lord, in a world full of darkness, give me the opportunity to shine your light today. My friends, this is an important prayer, a prayer that I hope we can pray together each and every day, and so that we can see what God does in our midst. I want to invite you for the next 40 days, including today, to pray, but also to observe, to watch. As you pray this prayer, I invite you to look at the way God is revealing his kingdom. There are a couple songs that inspired this prayer. I'm going to link those songs in our description today. I invite you to go look at those videos as a way to engage yourself, to inspire yourself. One is by Rend Collective. It's called Bring Your Kingdom Here. The other is by Chris Tomlin, entitled Keep Me in the Moment. I invite you to listen to those. And now for a final thought, back to our Series 66. 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. It says, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sins and heal their land." This begins with a big little word, if. If we respond to the call of God by turning from what was and turning to what will be in God, if we humble ourselves, say, God, I just don't know. I don't understand. I don't know where to go from here, and I know that I am incapable of bringing forth your goodness without your help. Lord, forgive me. Forgive me for the times I've tried to do it alone. Use me. I invite you into my heart. It also invites us in this simple verse to seek the Lord. This particular verse comes within the tail end of a section where Solomon is building the Lord's temple. After he's built the temple, he's in a moment of dedication, and he's given a prayer and a series of dedication to the temple. And God responds with this idea, that you have this place for me to dwell, a place for people to worship. But what is it that you will do in order to turn the people to God? And so, in this prayer, this simple invitation from God, if my people, if you and me who are called by the name of God, and indeed you are, humble yourselves and pray and seek the Lord, seek his face, and turn from our wicked ways, God will hear us. God will begin to move in mighty ways. And so as you begin to see God move, I invite you to share your story. Share it with me. Share it with others. Tell people about how prayer and the movement of God's Spirit will bring revival to you, to me, to the Macon United-Methodist-Church, to our community, and to our world. I hope you will join me in prayer over the next 40 days as we see what God can do, as we humble ourselves and turn our faces to God. God bless you and have a great day.